All right, so the topic today will be stress. So, stress. So in Nam Academy, we're always talking about a map, a roadmap, and tools. We want to make sure we're going in the right direction, and we want to make sure we have the tools to get there. And one of the biggest things misunderstandings people have is about stress. So if I were to simplify all of addiction and mental health into something, it would be the inability to tolerate stress. It would be living life in such a way that you always have maximum stress. It would be being stressed out and not even knowing it. Like a boiled frog. You're boiling, but you don't know. You think you're fine. Or being stressed but not being able to get it down. And so stress is the beginning, middle, and end of treatment. You must develop a healthy relationship with stress. When you get stressed, your amygdala fires, your survival brain activates, and you do all those things your trauma and in coding and programming taught you to do. You do what your parents did, or you do what, you go into a fight, flight, freeze, submit, or attachment cry response, and then your life is more stressful, not less. So today we're going to talk about stress. Stress, here's kind of three things about stress. If you can do these three things, you will be cured. You will be cured of your problem if you can just do these three things. They're not easy things, but it's the truth. Number one, if you can prevent stress or lead a low stress life. So prevent, not all stress is preventable, but 90% is.
How can prevent stress?
We talk about that.
Okay.
Prevent stress. I'll say prevent unnecessary stress. So there's some necessary stresses in life, child rearing, death of people. There's necessary stresses in life. And then there's the 90% that you've created for yourself with your unrealistic expectations, your issues. And so prevent unnecessary stress. Number two, okay, you got stressed, recognizing the stress, feeling it, being able to look inside and to know, I'm a 9 out of 10 right now. Okay, I'm pretty stressed out, I should go do something. Versus what is typical for people who start out in their addiction mental health journey, which is, I'm not stressed at all. But in reality, they've been living at 8 out of 9, 8 out of 10 stress, meaning 0 is no stress, 10 is the worst stress in life. They've been living at an 8 for 3 decades. They think an 8 is 0, but it's not. And because they're really stressed, they're acting in survival mode. So they have a problem with recognizing that they're in stress. And if you can't recognize, if you don't think you got a problem, why would you do anything about it? The lucky people are getting help to learn. Most people are unlucky. They are stressed out. They're living in a cesspool of stress. And they don't even know it until a truck hits them. Until something bad happens. Someone dies, and all of a sudden their glass house crumbles. And then all of a sudden they're here. Hopefully they're here, or getting help from someone. More often than not, they go to drugs, alcohol, bad coping, argument, drama, life falls apart, and then they come here. Or, as we know, 80 people every week suicide in Canada. It is what it is. So, recognizing stress is key. Recognizing the stress has everything to do with your insula. The insula is the part of the brain that looks inside. You can strengthen that. So we all know about looking outside, right? With your eyes, your ears, your feeling, your smell, your taste, you can sense the world. Sensing your inside uses a different kind of brain. Developing that brain is very key. Oftentimes through dissociation and chronic traumatization, we don't want to feel inside, so then we numb out to inside. So then the part of our brain, the insula, that detects inside, shrivels and gets small. The brain is like this. You use it or you lose it. Now, you may not know this, but millennials, they're always on their smartphones. They're always on their smartphones with their thumbs. And so if you look at a millennial's brain scan versus like someone in their 40s, the part of the brain that controls the thumb is bigger. It's actually bigger. It takes more territory in the brain. This is called neuroplasticity. The brain will change to do what you need it to do. If you always are on your phone, then your brain will say, hey, this thumb is important. You should build it. And recovery is simply the act of directing your neuroplasticity towards recovery things. So if you do recovery things like assess how you're feeling on an everyday basis. Where am I? 0 to 10. 0 is I'm not stressed at all. 10 is I'm the most. You can do this right now. Ask yourself that question, 0 to 10, how much stress are you under? And ask your body, not your brain. Take the first answer that comes up and write it down. When you do that, you'll be surprised at the number that comes. It may well be higher or lower than you think. But one thing that you just did is you exercised the insula, and it got a little bit stronger. So if you do that 4 or 5 times a day, you're building internal awareness. This is why we tell people to journal, to write their feelings down. It's because in order to do that, you have to access what your insides are. That strengthens the insula. That increases your ability to recognize the stress. And if you can recognize the stress, then the third part about stress is I'll just call it ways to de-stress. So, ways to de-stress. So you need tools. If you have tools, I should actually call it tools. If you have the tools, a lot of people are stressed out and they don't know how to bring the stress down. So these are the 3 things So preventing unnecessary stress, this is what our principles are for harmonious healing, assertive communication. Recognizing stress, the tool there is internally assessing the self. Regularly, not once, but all the time. Because Dr. Gill's telling you that you're stressed out and you don't even know it. That's your problem. Your survival brain is active and you don't even know it. Only way you're going to know it is if you are asking yourself, am I stressed out or not? That's very different when you ask yourself that question versus just thinking, am I stressed or not? If you actually out loud ask yourself, am I stressed out or not? It has a way of penetrating deeper into consciousness for your answer. And slowly over time, with lots of practice, you'll be able to think about stress and have an accurate answer. So, and Nam is all about teaching you ways, but not just Nam. The world is full of things to de-stress. So if you can manage your relationship with stress in this way, you will be cured of your problem. Cured as much as possible. So the thing is that the relationship with stress that we have it actually looks more like this. So this is a little graph. You know me, I'm all about graphs. So this is the amount of stress. So this is high stress, and this is low stress. High stress and low stress. And this is so I'm going to draw a graph. So we can call this time or some measure. The thing is, it's not that high stress, or stress itself is not a problem in life. We all need stress. So the relationship we have with stress is actually, oh yes, I understand. I am just going to revise this because I knew it wasn't making sense. All right, we'll redo that. So on this axis is health. So this is maximum health, high health, and low health. So unhealthy. Let's call it unhealthy. So when we have, and what this looks like, and this is something for you to study. On the bottom axis is stress. This is low stress. This is one of those graphs that you want to put in your brain. You want to remember this for the rest of your life. I'll tell you, very few people will teach you this. So this is low stress and this is high stress. I always like to say in medical school, I learned all sorts of things about diagnosing disease. But this kind of thing, you learn, you don't necessarily learn in med school. You learn it in places where, such as yoga or other places. But it's very helpful. So, when we're at a low stress level, if the stress is too low, our health isn't very good. You might have known somebody. Maybe some of you right now are kind of like, barely awake, tired, medicated. Low stress, you're not alert. If you're not alert, you can't interact with the environment. You're deactivated. That's not healthy. At least during the waking day, it's not healthy. Some people live like that. They're kind of like almost too chill. Yeah. Wife says, "Take out the trash." Oh yeah, honey. Oh. Yeah, I'll get to it. And then she comes and she'll yell at you. Your stress will increase when you don't respond appropriately to people. So if you're too low stress, it creates problems for you. And then if you go to too high stress, so there's a midpoint. When you have a medium amount of stress, you're alert, stress comes, wife says, "Honey, can you take out the trash?" It's a new thing, so it's a stressor. It stresses you a little bit. You know she's gonna get upset if you don't listen to her, but you have the energy. Oh, right, honey, we'll get right on it. Take out the trash. She's happy, you're happy. You've conquered a little bit of life. So stress isn't a bad thing. You need to get that out of your head, that stress is bad. It's not about de-stressing entirely. You need the stress. The vast majority that tend to come our way are the ones who live in the high stress. So their stress level is too high. They're in this category. This category, also not great, but it's hardest when you're in this category, high stress. And so high stress looks like this. You're already kind of stressed out, and then your wife is like, "Honey, can you go put out the trash?" Ah! You don't know what to do. you yell back at her and bring up something of the past, and you just like get into an argument or something. So you're high stressed, and then something happens, stresses you more out, and it just pushes you to even worse health. That's unmanageability. Or, more likely than not, you drink, or drug, or medicate, or numb out with, because no one can be like this the whole time. Most people will do something, masturbate, go to internet, shop, do something with food, right? To kind of just, but the point is that high stress, also not healthy. So most people, when they come to see us, this person's pretty good, right? They can tolerate a wide range of stress. Most people, when we meet them, they're more like this. They're more like this. I think you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. They got a very low window of tolerating stress. They have all this is in the unhealthy zone. And really, most of their life is spent imbalanced. And so what do? People who are stressed out by a lot of things will constrain and restrict their life into a routine that involves the same things and very few things because they can't handle too much. So they drive the same way to work every day. They will only talk to certain people. They'll only talk about certain things. They will live life on automatic with a very, very small window of tolerance. And they do this because they've tried to do other things, and they get stressed out by them. And so over time, they have learned the only way they can function is by staying in a very narrow life. And that's okay, but life is not always predictable. You can't, sometimes road rage is a great example. Someone's kind of, they can't handle too much stress. By the way, you can assess your relationship with stress by looking at how you drive. I've had lots of people say, "Oh no, I'm a low stress person," but you ask them how they drive. "Oh, I'm a demon on the road. I swear, I yell, I cry." They'll tell you their relationship with stress, because when you're going 100 on Highway 1, you're stressed out. And so then you will, that at least most people, many people, are stressed out. And so then their survival brain is more active. And you can see how active it is by the kind of comments someone makes, and road rage is the extreme of that. So the goal of recovery is to cultivate a healthy relationship with stress. When you can do that, then you widen the amount of life in which you can function at a good stress level. Doesn't mean stress doesn't go away, doesn't mean you don't dip down into high stress sometimes, but you can get yourself back. And that's the last part of this. I'm just going to move this over. And the last part of this is, how do you do that? The last part of this is, how do you do this, and where do you start? So what you have to understand is stress. Why do we care about stress? Is because stress saps your vitality. Vitality is your life energy. Vitality is your life energy, and stress drains your life energy. Or so it seems. If you have an unhealthy relationship with stress, it will definitely drain your life energy. But, like I said, if you have a healthy relationship with stress, then actually stress can build your life energy, and here's how. So there's one thing missing. And if you can have this missing item, it is relaxation. And the analogy to share here is weightlifting. When you lift weights and you build muscle, you are tearing your muscles. It actually, if you go under a microscope, you're actually ripping your muscles little bit by little bit. So you're draining your vitality. So how could that possibly be helpful? Because what do most weightlifters do? Ask yourself what would happen. Okay, gonna push up, do like 500 push-ups. At some point, your body will rip to the point of injury. That's not helpful. So most bodybuilders, most weightlifters, most trainers, they relax. They'll work one muscle group one day of the week or 2 days of the week, and other days they'll work different muscle groups, giving the other muscle groups the time to relax. Because in relaxation, healing is unleashed. The healing property of the body is expressed when you're sleeping, is expressed when you're resting. That's when repair happens. That's why when you break your arm, you get a cast. It's because we know that you need to rest that part so that the healing can happen the fastest. So the key to creating a healthy relationship with stress, so it doesn't sap your energy, is to punctuate it with relaxation, episodic relaxation. And if you're coming out of addiction or out of severe mental health issues or whatever, or chronic pain, chances are you have very few skills on how to relax. The more stressed out your life is, the deeper you need to be able to relax, the faster you need to be able to get in there. In yoga, we have a thing we call corpse pose, shavasana. Getting into deep relaxation quickly will allow you to consume and eat stress for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can. You can either be in the game of stress, you can either be a mouse and get eaten by the cat, or you can become the cat and go and eat stress as the mouse. The choice is yours. But if you want to eat stress and heal and grow, you need to create multiple times a day periods of relaxation. So this is how it goes. Vitality. Get stressed, get through it, relax, heal, increase your vitality, and then more stress will come. There's a saying, the universe will never send you more stress than what you can handle. And that's true. Stress is meant to help us grow. We need stress. Without stress, gravity is a stressor. You know what happens to astronauts in the outer space? When they go without the stress of gravity, their muscles shrivel. They become weak. They don't live very long unless they do something up there. So they train, they do things, they act like they have gravity, they bring it in. But even then, they can't stay up there too long. We need gravity. Our organ systems need gravity. So this idea of running away from stress, you need to lose it. You don't need it. But you need to learn to relax. And this is where we talk about the tools. So bringing us back to stress, preventing stress, recognizing stress, and developing tools to de-stress or relax. Well, preventing unnecessary stress, yeah. You know what? If your wife tells you, take out the trash, and you don't have anything else you're doing that's more important than that, then maybe just let her know when you can do it, rather than ignoring her, for example. Prevent stress. Recognize when you are stressed. And when you're stressed out, relax. And that relaxing does not just make you not stressed, it actually raises your vitality. It makes you stronger every time you do it. So we say self-therapy. Connect to self, connect to others, and commit to daily practice. That's your relaxation. That's your insight into your mind, into your life to prevent stress. Yeah, did you really need to argue with your wife or your spouse? Someone asking you that question? No, it was just my ego. Well, this is why we connect to others. Connecting to self. Learning to make that a relaxing experience. You know, we meet lots of people that are like, I can't do breathing. Yeah, well, it's time to learn. Because your breath is your biggest vitamin, and you must learn to use it to relax. There is no recovery without the breath. Period. Full stop. You must cultivate a healthy relationship with all aspects of your being, including the breath. And it is yours, and it's your right. I believe happiness is a birthright. I assure you, babies possess the ability to relax, and you were all a baby once. Why not rediscover your ability to relax? And babies, they can cry and they're like fussing and they think they're going to die because they're hungry and they don't know if they're going to get food. And then they get fed and all of a sudden they're sleeping. As if nothing ever happened. And you were all there once, and you can be there again. It's about rediscovery of that ability to relax and punctuating your day on a daily basis. So this is why daily self-therapy has to be daily. Because then it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And it will help you get your life back. So that was today's lecture on stress. And I beg the forgiveness if I misspoke, but stress is the most important part of recovery and cultivating a healthy relationship to it. Thank you.